Hey everybody, looks like a bunch of people are joining now. Welcome everyone. We'll get we'll get things going here in a minute, but we'll take a few just to make sure everyone has a chance to join. You should be auto muted. At some point we'll be chatting, so at that time please feel to unmute yourself, but for the time being, please leave yourself on mute and we'll get this going in a few minutes. All right, cool. Well, we might have a few people still joining in, but might as well get started. Welcome everyone to our first ever open office hours. I'm Ethan Martin. I'm with Schoolrunner. I'm a product owner and school support coordinator here. I've got my colleagues Meg and Sarah and Abby all here. I think you're probably all familiar with them to some extent. So yeah, we're excited to have this, and we're excited to chat through a new feature here, publishing report cards. So to get things started, let's just kind of go over how we're thinking about what this whole open office hour format is, and how we intend to use it going forward. So the idea is that we'll focus on a specific feature, usually something new or something that's very timely based on whatever point in the year we're at. We're going to explore, the benefit of the feature, and we'll practice using it together, and then we'll answer any questions. And if anyone wants to talk about how they have been using it, we can do that as well. So kind of just choosing one specific topic and exploring that all together. We're going to try to make it kind of informal. So we're certainly open to suggestions of what we should be discussing in the future. But also, so you know, these are supposed to be kind of like a exploratory feature for us all together. They're not a replacement for normal support procedures like emailing our support address, or a replacement for event-driven meetings to prepare for report cards and talk about data insights and stuff like that. So with that, let's get started. Let's talk about our first topic here, which is publishing report cards. We recently released this feature so that when you finalize report cards at your school, you can publish it to parents and students. With the idea that it's going to make it a lot easier for them to access report cards electronically. Obviously, there's a ton of logistic challenges with the pandemic going on. Report cards are just one of them. So hopefully this makes things a little easier for people. But the idea is that if you have the right permission, and that's found like any permission on our users page. You give it to a group. We have this new publish report cards permission. So if you add this to the user group you're in, you will then be able to go to the report cards page. And when you pull up a student or a group of students or your entire school, depending on how you get things out. We're going to use Ariane here as our sample student. When you click this generate button, oops, I'm not in the group I just added it to. Important, make sure you're in the group that you add the permission to. Here we go. Just proof that our permissions work. So don't worry, people will not be publishing report cards without your express permission. All right, so when you go to the report card page with the right permission and you choose the student or homeroom or course or whatever group of student you want to generate report cards for, you'll see these additional tick boxes up here. So if you want to publish report cards, and again, this is totally optional.
Ethan, are you able to zoom in on your screen a little bit?
Sure.
Thank you.
Looking better for everyone?
Yep.
All right. Let's make it even bigger. There we go. So when you zoom in, or sorry, when you click this button to generate, you'll see these optional tick boxes at the top. So if I'm going to publish this report card for Ariana, all I have to do is tick this. If I don't want to send a notification email, and we'll talk about what this means in a second, I can untick this. So right now I can publish, and if Ariana logs into the portal, or if one of Ariana's parents or guardian logs into the portal or pulls her up on the mobile app, they will now be able to download and view a report card. And that looks something like, let me refresh here, and there we go. So they'll be able to see, oops. They'll be able to see this, which is just published. I'm still obviously looking at this as a teacher, so I can see that Ariana has an active report card here. This is something old that I was messing with. You don't need to worry about that. But from here, I could either unpublish it, or I could download it and view it. But as a student, so I'm Ariana now logged in. As a student, I can also go to the report card page, and I can see the same thing. So Q1 report card for this year. Again, I can download it. I can open it and view it. Here I am at Hogwarts. Here are my grades, just like you would print out or just like you would email home otherwise. And you can also view this on the mobile app. So I'll pull this up as well. And by the way, just to specify, if a parent logs into the web portal, they see pretty much the same exact thing here as a student. So even though Aria isn't a student, if you're a parent logging in, you're going to see this exact same thing. And likewise in the mobile app. So right now I'm a parent of Ariana. I'm going to choose her. I have the slip and all the recent stuff as usual, but when I tap on the grades menu here at the bottom, I start with Q2 because that's a current term, but if you can see here, we have a little icon indicating that your report card has been published and is available for Q1. So I can tap there. And in addition to seeing, obviously, the Q1 GPA, grades, things like that, I have this big button here to download and view report card. So it's also accessible here on the mobile app as well. And this is the same exact file that you would get from the portal. It's the same exact file that you as teachers and staff would generate in the website. And so it's very, very easily accessible here. So that's it in a nutshell. Obviously, a big part of this is also letting people know that report cards have been published and finalized. So if we go back here and we look again at publishing report cards, we'll see that Ariana already has one published. So we don't, we make you unpublish it if you want to do this over again. Basically, if you make any changes to grades, if you want to take away a report card, you have to unpublish first. So let's do that. So now if I made whatever changes, I redesigned the report card, I added in a comment, I updated grades, whatever, And now I know this is for sure the final one. I want to check this box right here to notify parents and students. Same thing, hit publish. Same thing happens. It's still accessible the same exact ways, but teachers, or not teachers, parents and students would get a email that looks something like this saying like, hey, a new report card has been published for the student for this term. You can log into it, or you can log into the web portal, or you can download our app if you don't already have it and log in and view it there. So it doesn't actually send the report card itself. It just sends a notification that it's available for them to view. So a big important part here is knowing who is going to get a report card. When you publish it to students and parents, and we have a little more info here. Let me just unpublish this, get this back up, clear the zoom out. So a little more info, there's a tooltip here if you forget, but basically we will email any students that have an email address stored in our system, and we will email parents or guardians that have signed up for an account. And that's an important distinction. It's not just every contact that a student has that also has an email, because a lot of contacts aren't primary caregivers, and we don't want to spam random people who shouldn't be getting notifications that, you know, their neighbor or their niece have a report card published. So we do not automatically email adults who are contacts. We email adults that have signed up for Schoolrunner and have created accounts that are linked to an individual student or students based on the access code you give them. And you can see that here. So Ariana has one parent or guardian who has signed up and specifically linked his or her account to Ariana. That's me at this point, but multiple adults could be linked to a single student. And this is all up to you guys to send out access codes. So real quick sort of segue on that is you do that by, and we'll send this along, all this relevant documentation. But if you want to generate access codes, you basically you go to this page here. Let me just go there. You go to configure and student parent portal access. And it allows you to either like download a spreadsheet with access codes for each student that you can then distribute to parents, or generate like PDFs that are aligned to each student. So either way, you give out these access codes to the adults create their accounts, and then they're eligible for these emails. So we'll send along the whole documentation. I can answer more questions in the kind of Q&A section coming up here. But this is it in a nutshell. Meg, what have I forgotten?
I don't think you forgot anything.
Great.
In the chat, someone just asked if they can see which students don't have parents or guardians linked to them. And I don't believe there's an easy way to do that on the website side, but Ethan and I can pull that report for you very quickly. So if you do need to know who has signed up for a parent account, we can give you a list of those people.
Yep, great question. Along those lines, you'll see a new filter here on the report cards page. This has published report cards, yes, no, all right here. For example, maybe your 5th grade teachers have published report cards, but not the 6th graders. And you're not really sure who has had a report card published and who hasn't. If you were to load, for example, I think we have an all students group here. If we were to load all students, or even like all, I don't know, 5th grade or something, who has a published report card versus who doesn't, that'll come up here. So I have unpublished Ariana's, that's why she's not showing up at this point. But you can load a group and then filter by who does or who does not have a report card published already. All right. So those are the main points I wanted to hit, kind of, you know, why we did this. and the kind of core components of how to set this up. So let's open it up. Who has questions or who wants to know more about one thing or another?
Hey, Ethan, quick question from Halim. So when I'm just curious about the workflow. So say, for example, I was practicing on one student like you were, and I published her report card. And then I realized, all right, I'm ready to select all active students and run their report cards and publish them. Do I need to go back to that individual student, or will they be captured in the all active students for me to publish? Do I need to unpublish her before I can add her to the published list?
Yes, there's a couple ways. Let me illustrate. I'll republish for Ariana. Oops. But basically, if you loaded an all students group,
You still have it toggled to yes for published report cards.
oh, I was going to say what's going on here. If you load an all students group and some students do, but some students don't have things published, we'll tell you like stop. You can't do this until you either like filter your group or you unpublish for the kids that already have it. So let me show you what that looks like. Publish. You don't need to send email. All right, so now one student has a published report card. If we were to now load the all students group, and we can see again also right here that a student has it published, and from here you can view the history. Even you can see who has done what, when it was published or unpublished. You can get rid of it. But now if I try to do this, it's going to tell me stop. Some report cards have already been published, either unpublished for that student, or we can go back and do this. Has published a report card? No. Ariana disappears. And so now we can do it for like the remaining kids. Does that make sense, Salim?
Yes, it does.
Right.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, two options: either filter out the kids who already have them and then publish for the remainders, or just unpublish that one kid or several kids' report cards and then just start from scratch with everyone.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Great question. Anyone else? Anyone else? And if no one has any other questions, I would also love to know, has anyone started using this yet and have any feedback and they want to share? All right.
Mr. Jones, do you want to unmute yourself and, oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Oh, there he is.
I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention to the chat.
Yeah, so we used it. It worked well for us. I haven't seen or really heard any parent or guardian feedback on it. We used it for progress reports. We just changed the report card title to progress reports instead. And so I used it and got it working just fine. I was worried it was going to be like a whole multiple hour process, but I mean, like Ethan showed, it is pretty straightforward and it worked well for us.
Awesome. Yeah, great to hear that. Great to hear that. That's excellent. Yeah, we're certainly open to feedback if anyone does start using this and notice anything that could be improved. As always, we love hearing feedback on new stuff and old stuff. So if anything does come up or ways to make this easier, we can certainly look into that. I like the idea of knowing who doesn't yet have a Guardian account or who does. As Meg said, we can kind of pull that and send you a report from our side. But that's obviously a really good suggestion to help make this a lot clearer of who's going to get in or who isn't.
And if anybody knows already that they're going to email support in about 20 minutes looking for that parent portal, report, you can just chat your school name and I'll pull that and make sure to get it to you when we're done.
All right.
I mean, while we're at it, I think it would be really cool to just have more ability to track parent engagement. So I know we can like track history of changes. It'd be cool to see when I go into a student's profile. Okay, it looks like mom logged in yesterday. I don't know if you're tracking that level of data, but you know, that would be cool to know because we're still 100% virtual.
Yeah, for sure. That has definitely come up recently in conversations on our side. So it's something that may be coming in the future, but it's definitely on our mind in terms of, you know, how are people engaged? Are they logging in? Are they viewing this page or that page? Are they downloading the report card now that that's a possibility? Yeah, a very, very timely conversation we've been having. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, and we can certainly hang around to chat more, but if there's nothing else, we'll send this recording out to everyone. We will send along the relevant documentation that I've got up here, and kind of a quick summary of how to do this. But hopefully this is something y'all can take advantage of, and hopefully it makes your lives a bit easier. And yeah, we're hoping that we'll get some good feedback and that'll be beneficial to y'all.
Yeah. On the topic of feedback, we did put together a survey. It is like 3 questions, so it should not take you very long at all, but we would really appreciate those of you who came just filling that out really quickly so we have some data that we can use moving forward with office hours. So I'm going to chat that out in the chat box right now. It should be there. So if you guys mind taking the 2 or 3 minutes it would take to fill that out, we would really appreciate that.
All right. So yeah, sounds good. Feel free to log off whenever you're done. But if you do want to pick our brains on anything, Meg and I will stick around a bit and be happy to answer any questions you have on this.
Hey, this is Dominique with Paula Havens. I might have missed it. I like had to step away for a quick second, but did anyone ask or discuss about like translation features with the publishing?
Great question. No one asked about that. It'll work the same way that it does right now. So if students have like a home language set on their profile, and you generate based on that home language, which isn't an option for us right now because I don't have that configured here. But if home language is selected right here, the report card you generate and that's published to the portal and the app will be translated, just as it would be if you do this here.
Great, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, great question.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap this up. See, Catrice and Susan are still with us. If you guys have any questions, certainly let us know. But we'll be sending this all your way. And thanks so much for your time.